So, what if everybody thinks that you are the problem? What if not only your husband, but many of your friends, your pastor, and eventually the court all blame you? After some time, it's very natural and normal, yet harmful, to completely believe it and to start questioning yourself. Like, what if it is me? I am the common denominator in this storyline, the storyline full of lies and inaccuracies and harmful words. But what if you are the common denominator in those conversations? You begin to question your own reality. Maybe it was me. I think we stop and we look at our circumstances after we've gone through something so horrific like a divorce from a harmful person, from somebody who was emotionally and spiritually harming us. And we see how we had to leave the castle. And we look at our new circumstances and we think, well, if this is how we're left, with loss of people, loss of financial security, loss of health, completely feeling destroyed, we think, okay, we must have done something to deserve this. This must have been us. Everybody else is saying it was us. And we begin to blame ourselves. This is what we do. This is what I'm doing. After you've heard it so many times, you begin to question, okay, wait, what did I do? What did I do to end up in this terrible situation? What did I do to deserve the treatment in the home? What was I doing wrong that he thought it was okay to treat me that way? Sometimes it isn't what did we do, but it's actually what happened to us. What harm happened to us? It's very different. And I have found myself falling into shame. Well, look at my castle fell apart and I was the princess in the castle. Did I do this? But no, I wasn't the maker of the chains. I wasn't the one that was binding myself in destruction. But I do question myself. I think, okay, even a pastor says, even the judge says. But the thing is that storyline is based on lies. I loved my husband. I loved my children. I built a home and made it as beautiful as I could amongst the harm, amongst the blow-ups, amongst the harsh treatment. I tried to make a battlefield as beautiful as I could. Those were my actions. And yet somehow I'm being held accountable for his behavior. Somehow it's being projected onto me and being told that it's my fault. I didn't do it. And yet I'm waking up in the night with this shame which is misplaced blame. Because I didn't do the harm. I didn't do the abusing. I was on the receiving end of it. And yet somehow the whole narrative got flipped. I am so thankful I was able to speak with Patrick Doyle, my counselor, who has helped me through this whole process. And I just have to share some of the gems that he gave me. And so I'm going to drop little pieces of the recording. I always record our sessions, so I'm going to drop a few here just sporadically as I'm talking to you so you can hear his wisdom. And I can't tell you how badly I needed to hear him say, Linda, this is something that happened to you. This isn't something that you did. Now, yes, I have sins and I I made wrong choices, but I didn't do any of the hurting. I didn't harm him. I have to, here we go. I have to stop trying to understand what happened. I have been spinning out of control. I ask myself, I spin, what happened to my life? I was a wife, loving my husband, loving my children, and it's all blown up. And I had to finally admit that he is not treating me good. And then I had to go a step further. He does not love me. And his behaviors show that. His continual harmful behaviors show that. And it was only confirmed during the divorce process where the harm became deeper and stronger and more damaging.
Songs about, I feel like you've been down to the whipping post.
Wow.
And I believe that's what's happened to you. You've been down to the whipping post. And look, you didn't do anything to deserve anything. In fact, quite the opposite. All you did was sacrifice yourself and care and love and be genuine and kind and as spiritually clean as you could be. And little did you know, you were living with someone who was a cesspool. And you kept wondering why you were getting sick. Because you're doing all this good stuff, but he's a cesspool. So every time he comes near you, you get infected.
But as the slaps keep coming or the whips keep coming, I can't help but think, what did I do to get tied up to this pole?
Right. Nothing.
How can that be?
Was the slave responsible for being tied to the pole? But I don't want you to focus on the reason why you're being whipped. Okay, being you. I want you to understand that the reason why it's happening is unhealthy people around you.
But I think that I have gone through this period for quite a while of spinning in my mind, trying to understand what happened to my relationship. What happened to it? I go through conversations, I go through circumstances, and I think, I want to make sense of the crazy, and I can't. And I'm so busy trying to understand it. And what Patrick said was, you'll be able to stop that spin when you turn it into a focus of accepting. This isn't what you did. This is what happened to you. You were in a harmful relationship. You were harmed. I need to accept this. I need to accept that people have turned their backs on me. I need to accept that the court completely destroyed me and left me with nothing, basically. It doesn't make sense to me, and I can keep trying to make it make sense, trying to understand it, or I can begin accepting that this is real. This happened to me, so now what? What does God want me to do now? And that's where Patrick was telling me, it's not what do you do next, it's what can you do? And like I've mentioned before, sometimes that's making myself a cup of coffee. Sometimes that's watching the trees. Sometimes that's playing piano. What can I do? And I think, okay, so what does God want with my life? What is his will? What does he want me to do now? Once I begin accepting this happened to me, I built into a marriage for almost 37 years that was destroying me. And then I was left wrecked financially and emotionally and physically. I need to accept that. And then when I think, okay, what does God want me to do? What is his will for my life? And you know, you can spin out and try to figure out, well, maybe he wants me to do this. Maybe he wants me to do this. Well, the Bible's pretty clear what he wants you to do. Be thankful always. Rejoice always. Pray continuously. Right there. I could start with those things. He wants nothing more than for me to bond with him and to rest in his presence and to be thankful for all of it and to rejoice over all of it and to trust in him. If he has made promises, which he has all throughout the word, he makes promises of taking care of me, of providing for me, of bringing justice to those who have harmed me. I can trust him in that. I can trust him. I can trust in his promises, and I can rest. And I can focus on what I can do, which does feel like very little, but I can focus on praying continuously, being thankful, rejoicing always. For this is the will of God. I can do that, and I can make it bigger and bigger in my life every day. But I have to stop blaming myself for what happened to me. God wrote this story, and this man harmed me and has left me basically on the road, is completely how it feels. The court system doesn't care about me. There are lies that have completely wrapped themselves around this whole story, and I have no control over it. I have no control. And so I must start accepting, not trying to understand the crazy, but accepting this happened to me.
Now that you have your own autonomy, start taking care of yourself instead of letting them beat you from a distance.
He's dropping dolls on my doorstep. How can I not have that affect me?
I didn't say it shouldn't, but in the dark of the night, when you're trying to get sleep, you got to rehearse that you're not the problem and that there are things you can do instead of spending the energy on things you can't affect.
So you really don't hold me accountable?
I hold you accountable for your actions. Yes, and according to your actions, you've been very kind and very loving and very generous and very patient, and you've taken a lot of abuse when you should have, not been abused, but you took it anyway and you're gracious about it. But nice, a lunatic. You need to focus on what you can affect and what you can do.
Which is crawling to the kitchen to make myself a cup of coffee.
Correct, and then be so great, so grateful when you get the coffee because it tastes so good.
And thinking, what can I do? And that's enough. Because what does God what does God want mostly with me? Closeness. And I can give him that. Please stop shaming yourself for somebody else's harmful behavior. Quit blaming yourself, even if the person that's blaming you is somebody that you have respected all your life. Shame can be used to drop us into this complete attitude of defeat. And that's what Satan wants for us, is to feel defeated and to think, God isn't good if he's left me like this. No, God is good. No matter what happens to me, no matter what circumstances fall on my head, and a bunch of bad ones have, my ex-husband is not done doing his worst. But it doesn't matter. Even if my circumstances have fallen so low and I find there's a basement to that low, it doesn't matter because my God is still good. He loves me. He doesn't want me to live in shame, especially blaming myself for what somebody else did. And he doesn't want me to keep trying to figure out and understand this crazy turmoil I've been in. I need to accept I was dropped in this hole. This happened to me. But God loves me, and he's loved me through it, and he wants to keep loving me. So I hope these little excerpts I've put in here from Patrick have encouraged you. They encouraged me. Sometimes you just need to hear somebody speak a simple truth. No, This isn't what you did. This is what happened to you. And instead of trying to understand a crazy, harmful, sad situation, accept that it happened. Stand up, look to your Lord, and do His will, which is pretty simple and pretty beautiful, to live in His presence. I hope this has encouraged you, and I'm so glad you came. There are times where I think, maybe I shouldn't be making these videos anymore, and I tell myself, okay, if I don't hear from 5 people, I'm not going to do it. But I keep hearing from you. I keep getting those messages, and those are telling me there are people out there that need to hear from somebody who has gone through this, and maybe I'm at a different stage, and I can be here with you as we continue to walk through these castle walls together. I'll see you next time.